on Twitter, on Twitch TV, and in glorious high definition on YouTube. This is Bayern in Effect. Okay, so hands up, who wants Chelsea to win? I don't think there's going to be too many of the Spurs fans, obviously, and perhaps some of the Liverpool supporters won't want them to win either. Of course, do you think the Man United fans will want them to win? Probably not. But for me, for one, I'm an Englishman. I want an English team to do well in Europe. And come on, let's face it, it's against the Germans. So in just 3 days' time, the Champions League will finally draw to a close, and one of either Chelsea or Bayern Munich will be crowned champions. And in this analysis, we're going to have a look at what we think the starting lines are going to be and some of the factors that will affect the result. And as we know, Chelsea will be missing John Terry and Ivanovic through suspension, along with Ramirez, Raul Mares, and that's 3.5 starters out for the final game. Luckily, Chelsea were quick to cope with the absence of them guys. David Luiz and Gary Cahill both been drafted in. They're declared fit for the Champions League final, and Boswinger showed against Barcelona that he can rise to the occasion. It'll be Ramirez will be the hardest player to replace for Chelsea, but Roberto Di Matteo seems to have restored his faith in Daniel Sturridge and will likely start him on the right in the Champions League final in the absence of Florent Malouda. Kalou will start on the left, that's what I reckon anyway, and up top I think Drogba has got to start. It's going to outweigh F.Torres, who's been playing really well in recent games, but if Chelsea are struggling towards the end of the game, Torres will probably come on, no doubt. But Bayern as well, they're not without their problems. They've got some suspensions. Alaba, Badstuber, Gustavo. They're all going to miss the final as well, which means they're going to have to rejig the pack, if you like. Left back, centre back. It's a bit of a couple of tough choices that they're going to have to there. Gustavo is going to be very hard to place alongside Schweinsteiger, but Toni Kroos will have to move back to play defensive midfielder. Müller comes in as a second striker. There's lots of things to consider, but rather than say who I think's going to win, I'm going to give you a few facts and let you decide, and put in the comments if you want who you think will win based on those facts. First and foremost, it's important to remember that this game will be played at Bayern's home ground, their home stadium. But technically it's not a home game because both clubs are supposed to get 17,500 tickets each for their fans. But playing in the home city, it'll still give the Germans that feeling of playing at home. And this could positively impact on Bayern's performance in the Champions League final. Or it could have a negative effect, too much pressure. Once they step out on the pitch and realise that neither of them have the edge in the fan support, it could go either way. Both teams' formations and matchups. One of the things that stands out for me is how attacking Bayern Munich's lineup could potentially be in the final. Schweinsteiger is more attack-minded than defence-minded, and Toni Kroos is almost completely attack-minded. Thomas Müller is a forward. Put those three guys in the lineup, and with Frank Ribery, Aaron Robben, it's offensive overkill. This could result in one or two things. The overload in quality could overwhelm Chelsea's vulnerable defence, and it could be a comprehensive victory for Bayern, but it could leave Bayern Munich's own defence compromised and also at risk of being overrun, and Chelsea could capitalise on that and come out victors. On Chelsea's end of things, a lot of Chelsea's success will come down to Daniel Sturridge. Can he play well if he's replacing Ramirez? He's done a lot already to take Chelsea far in the Champions League, and Chelsea with Sturridge will have to step up big time in his absence. Kalou will be an X-factor for Chelsea. Bayern Munich will be well aware of the threat posed by the likes of Lampard, Mata and Drogba, but these three will likely be marked tightly. But Kalou hasn't really started a great deal this season, and likely given some freedom to attack Bayern's defence. If he can capitalise on that and score one of his trademark poacher goals, it could really give Chelsea the edge in this Champions League final. And last but not least, this match will hugely be influenced by the coaches, both of whom have really used this victory to ensure that they stay on with their respective teams next season. But Roberto Di Matteo, we still don't know whether he's going to actually stop. It's one of them things that Chelsea want the trophy-hungry club, and so for Roberto Di Matteo to actually win, it'll be another tick in the box, and you never know. But both teams are desperate for a trophy to bring their own otherwise disappointing seasons to a conclusion. But we'll find out this Saturday which team is the hungrier of the two. Put some predictions in the comments below if you want to, and I'll be back on Saturday after the game with a report of the match.